Hey y'all, I'm the Eclectic Blerd. Welcome to another Eclectic Review. Today we're doing WandaVision, Episode 7, Breaking the Fourth Wall. Ever since Episode 3, I kind of start with my general belief and feeling about the episode. And for the fifth, sixth, seventh episode in a row, ooh-wee, that was another good episode. For me, the concept of this show is about character development, even though it's a lot of stuff going on, but you're developing each and every character. And so watching it as a viewer, you get to watch the development of that character and see why they're making decisions and how those decisions continue to come together in different ways based on the episode. But I digress. And so again, to all the actors and actresses, to the writers, to Marvel, to Disney Plus. Still loving the show. I'm still loving it. To the traditionalists, you know what? I'll get to y'all at the end of this video. So let's get to the review. Now again, like I always say, it's not going to be in any order that I can think of particularly. I'm just going to kind of go off the things that I saw that were important to me, my viewing, and just to kind of give you all a general understanding of what happened in the show. And just like always, my WandaVision reviews are spoiler reviews. So if you don't want any spoilers, then I would suggest you go watch the show first, then you come watch the video here. But before I begin, won't you also become one of my eclectics and hit the subscribe button? Not only should you subscribe, like this video as well, comment and interact with me about what you think is going on in the episode and what might happen in the future. As you know, I don't do a lot of theories on this channel, but I do say, hey, what does that mean? And we can just have a little bit of discussion at the end of this. So, y'all ready? I'm ready. All right, let's go. So this episode, like every episode has been like 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000-ish. So we're kind of in the 2000-ish for the opening, right? And the opening is very much about Wanda and being estranged from Vision. And the kids weren't about her. And when it came on, it just had a bunch of Wanda stuff going on, and then put Vision at the very end to make WandaVision for the title of the show. And the first time they put on there by Wanda Maximoff, which is a very interesting twist to that. But Wanda was actually struggling with everything that was going on in the last episode, in the episodes before that. I'm starting to feel like Wanda is losing her mind a little bit. Part of it is the grief that she's had. Part of it is she's not really understanding what's going on now. How she's losing grip of whatever she has over the town, over herself, over Vision, over the twins, Billy and Tommy. But that's kind of how it's going. So she's acting like, hey, I need some me time. I don't feel like doing anything. I'm depressed. But she don't know why she's depressed. She's like, oh man, I extended this whole hex thing and now I need to do something about it, but I don't know how. So I'm just going to dwell in my sorrow for, extending the hex out again. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I'm causing more harm than anything else. Maybe I'm becoming the villain. I don't know what's going on. And then they start asking about Pietro, and she's like, oh, that's not my brother. And they're like, who it is? And she's like, don't worry about all that. I'm your mama. That's all you got to worry about. And then Agnes came over and she opened the door. Imagine, like, look, I don't got time to be pretending no more. I'm Wanda. I can do what I want. And that's kind of how she acting, but at the same time, she's depressed. All kind of things are going on in her house where between each episode, the house and everything in the surroundings would change. Well, now the surroundings and things that are happening in episodes are coming back and forth, and the 60 things are showing up in the house. She put out some milk that went through all the iterations of how milk are done. The furniture changing up. That stork that happened before she gave birth to the twins, and she kicked Monica out. That stork showed back up and went away. So all of that stuff was going on. Maybe it's a precursor for something. So while all this going on, the twins went over to Agnes while the one is trying to figure out what's going on. So now we have another tandem to pop up, which is Vision and what is her name? Darcy. That's right. Vision and Darcy. So of course Darcy is a escape artist because of course remember in the last episode they were circus and everything, so she became an escape artist at the carnival. And Vision's another clown, I guess, because he had all the makeup on. And as Vision was trying to talk to her, she's like, "Hey, yo, I ain't got time for this. Okay, we can go on a date, but stop bothering me." He's like, "No, no, no, no. I remember you when I tried to get out the hex." So he touched her, and she woke up. So Darcy's like, "Oh man, I was the guest star, but it ain't like I wanted it to be." And then like, "Okay, I'm awake, so what do you want to know?" And so they left, and so now Darcy is kind of explaining to Vision everything that went on in game and right before the hex and everything else, and about that she don't know about the kids and other things that's going on in the hex. But in general, Vision is still trying to figure out who he is because he's starting to understand why he don't remember anything before moving to Westview. At the same time, all these things are starting to happen now where they're driving, there are lights, they're fixing stuff, children are showing up, and of course this is like a 2000 mantra TV show, so they're talking to the screen a lot in this one. It's kind of like you go to the little room, the little confessional room, and you're like, "Well, I don't care about this and what's going on and blah blah blah." So they're using that as the kind of concept for the show. So Vision has one and Wanda has one. And one of the ones Wanda was in, the person's like, maybe you feel like this because you're the one that caused all the problems. And one's like, "Hey, what you talking for? You're not supposed to talk. That's my confessional." But after it's all said and done, Vision just said, "You know what, man, I'm out. I can fly." So he went through the thing and went to go try to find Wanda because he just wanted to try to figure out what's going on between him and his wife, right? At the same time, Jimmy, Woo, and Monica, I'm like, "You know what? Going to meet the person." Aha! It wasn't nobody I thought it was going to be, was it? That's why I try not to get into all these theories of who she's texting. She's just texting somebody that knew her mama. In general, right? She might end up being somebody, particularly, but from my perspective, hey, she just texted somebody she knew who knew her mama. Able to get her some stuff from Sword, and they thought it was just this toughest, roughest thing. So she get into her outfit and say, "Okay, it's time for me to drive this through." And so she go to drive it through, and it won't budge, and she flooring it, and it won't budge to get into the hex. Because remember that the hex is way stronger than it was when Monica first went in it. Because it got refortified. Remember when Wanda came out and put the guns on on them. So because of that, it's hard to get in. And so the times to get in, it kind of sucked in, and then Monica jumped out and it spit it back out. So it was a half of the craft that she was in and a half of old time truck. And at that point, everybody like, "Come on, Monica, you couldn't get in." She's like, "I can get in there." And June was like, "No, don't do it." She's like, "Man, bump this, I'm going." And she goes and pushes herself through the hex. But while she's going through the hex, this is what the exciting part of it is, right? She starts to go through the hex and all these memories start going around her. And that must be what happened when you go in there, is that you kind of get retold things and you come out as a character. And so while all that was going on, she was starting to hear her mother. She was actually heard Captain Marvel while she was in there. She was hearing other people. She was hearing Doc. So she heard all these things from when she was a child. And at one point, and she even saw pictures of voices of when she was actually in the Hex the first time, when she was Geraldine. And while all that was going on, she finally just said, no, I'm getting through this, and kind of sucked every single one of those memories into herself to say, look, I'm all of that. So I'm no longer running from what happened to me and what's happening in my family or who I really am. I'm dealing with it. So it sucked back in, and when she came out, her eyes were blue. And when she looked around, everything seemed to be blurry and in these, it's hard to explain. In this certain way, like we could see her, what she was seeing. And at that point, we know, oh, she's powered now. Interesting. So at that point, she starts to run to get to the house because, of course, she kind of remembers where it's at because that's part of the memory she brought in. So she's taking all those memories in. She gets over there, opens the door like, Wanda, what's going on? Wanda like, hey, bro, what you doing here? I got rid of you. And she kind of grabbed her, stuck her in the air with her magic. And she's like, no, 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 no. And we didn't do petrol. I'm not lying about nothing. They trying to set you up. They just want to use vision. And she basically slammed her down. But Monica did the one thing that every movie does in Marvel and DC, the superhero landing. So at that point, I know she powered, right? But then she starts to talk to her and we're like, look, I'm telling you the truth. They just want to use vision. You know, that's what the director want. The director want. He just want to use vision. He couldn't do nothing with it. Then all of a sudden, you got him, and all of a sudden he working. So they want to use him for something. And one's like, I'm not listening to you. And she's like, all right, kill me then. Do something then. And she's like, see, I knew you want to do nothing, but he will. And then all of a sudden, actors come out like, no, come here, come here, come here. She's like, come on, that got nothing to do with you, son. It's an A&B conversation. I see you out of it. And she's like, no, come on, come on. And so Agnes is able to pull Wanda away from Monica. And so Wanda get into the house and like, hey, why does the house still look like it's in the 70s and everything? And so then she look over and she see a rabbit in a cage and she see a bee. And she's like, where are the kids? So she's trying to figure out where the twins at. And Agnes like, I don't know, maybe they in the basement playing. She get down to the basement. It look like she in some sort of lair or something. I'm like, who got a lair at the bottom of their house? She get down there and she see a book, which I don't know. I've seen enough TV shows of these powerful beings that their book means something. And she comes down like, oh, we can finally meet. I'm acting Harkness. Oh my gosh. Now, of course, for those who don't know, I'll kind of explain who Agatha is in a little bit. And so Agatha's, well, let's do it now. She's a witch, right? And so at that point, she's like, yeah, you're not the only one with powers here. And somehow she looked like she's starting to take over Wanda's mind or something. It looks like maybe a little mind control is going on. And then she's like, guess who's really been in control? And so they play a theme song like the Monsters. And it's like it's been Agatha all along or something like that. And so that song is playing, they showing her do all these things. She's the one brought that crazy petrol there from Fox. And she the one that had the guy cutting through the steel, you know, been doing all the manipulating that's been happening since the show started. She's been doing it. And of course, she even killed the little poor dog. And then it goes off. But they finally pulled post-credit scene on this episode. And it had Monica still looking around like, man, I got to figure out what's something weird going on. So she opens up something to kind of go into a basement, and she see the purple. Oh, by the way, Agatha seems like her power is purple, just like Monica's is blue, and Wanda's is red. And so she sees it, and she's like, huh, what's that going on? Then all of a sudden, Pietro shows up and like, hey, she been so nosy for? And then it goes off. Right? So now that was the episode. For me, it was such a great episode. There's a lot of developed character movements going on. Who knows what happened to the kids? There's something happened to the kids. You know, a lot of the things that's happening in that area, what's real and what was in Wanda's mind. Did Agatha make Wanda think she was going crazy, or was Wanda actually starting to go crazy? How does Vision fit into this Agatha Wanda thing? We know that Sword was trying to use Vision probably as a weapon because, you know, that's what humans do. But how does he fit into the whole picture of all of that? And Vision now starting to learn about who he is now and not who he used to be. So he's kind of generally starting to understand where he's at as part of where his life is right now. Darcy's still woke in there. Monica's woke in there. Monica's powered. Getting very interesting. So the concept is, everybody kept thinking that Monica's finna become Captain Marvel. One iteration of Monica's character is called Photon. And with what was going on, I'm starting feeling more like she's Photon instead of a Captain Marvel. By the way, in the comic book, she actually changed her name from Captain Marvel to Photon as a way to honor the original Captain Marvel, right? So I'm wondering if that's what's happening with her, but she's definitely powered now. That's for I'm pretty positive about that. Pretty positive about that part. So now I'm wondering, okay, now the director of SWORD actually said, hey, let's launch. So launch what? Is he a part? Is he in with Agnes? Or is he gonna do something else to just blow the city up? I don't know. It's just, I'm not seeing where he fits in anymore. But it's very interesting. So we got to figure out what's happening with the twins. They might not even exist anymore. We might have seen the last episode with the twins in it. If so, that's kind of sad. Gonna add more to Wanda's grief and more to Wanda's confusion and more to her going crazy. Or maybe they are somewhere and magic can bring them back. I don't know. Maybe like I said, I'm pretty sure Monica is Photon now, or a version of that character. She's had like 5 or 6 iterations of a character name, even though her power has been pretty similar. But that's kind of the first iteration, I think, of her name, if I remember correctly. Is it 60s Spider? I can't remember what comic book it was in. Maybe Amazing Spider-Man was it starting? I can't remember. But that's where I think she's gonna be at. Is Jimmy Woo gonna try to get up in there or not? How's Darcy really gonna fit now that she's awake and only a few people are awake as well up in there? That's another interesting point. I'm not sure where the show is going. I'm excited about it. I love the character development. I can't wait to see what they do next episode. I can't wait till next Friday. But this has been such a great ride with you all. 7 weeks. Well, 6. I did episode 1 and 2 together. So we had 6 weeks together of WandaVision. And it's been such a blast for me to talk about this show with you all. Don't forget I started Stranger Things too, so those will be dropping this soon as well. And we're also going to be doing some new top fours as well on this channel. And again, give us a subscribe, give us a like, give us some comments if you want to interact and tell me what your theories are going forward. Like I said, I don't have a lot of theories. I'm just kind of noticing little things here and there. Oh, the commercial. So they have commercials saying that you can get prescribed a pill to fix your depression, which is this was 100% for Wanda. Because you can't always be the center of attention, or can you? So was it really about Wanda, or was it about Agatha? Now that is a very interesting point about that commercial. It seems like it was all about Wanda trying to fix herself and trying to confuse her and get her into a weird point. Then at the same time, it's like, I wonder why that is. What's going on? Could it have been Agatha? Also, when Wanda couldn't find the kids, there were peanut butter and jelly plates there, juice, and Teletubbies was on. Kind of young for them, but still, that's an interesting. Why was Teletubbies on? It made wonder where her twins were at, actually. So all of that is going on. So I can't wait till next week to talk to you all again about this show. I'm loving it. I would suggest anybody that hasn't seen this show to start at episode 1 and keep going. Oh, I said I was going to get to the traditionalists. So all the Marvel traditionalists, if you don't like the show, just be quiet. You don't have to like it. But don't spoil it for the rest of us that like the concept. I love character development and things, and that's what's happening in this show. Just because you're not seeing stuff blow up and go here and get into big fights, that's for movies. This is a TV show. This TV show not based on that. This TV show based on seeing what happened to characters and what happens to Wanda, what happens to Vision, and how all of that fit together with Monica and Jimmy and Darcy involved. That's what it's about. So for all you traditionalists, man, go on somewhere. Don't ruin it, because Marvel took a chance making a show like this. And it's not a cookie cutter show like all the movies that you all say are cookie cutter. All the movies are cookie cutter. But then when they make a TV show that's not cookie cutter, you complain then too. You're always complaining. Just enjoy that we had over 10 years of this and that DC's starting to come with some good stuff. We should be happy that we're able to be alive to see all these different things happening right now. I love the show. I hope they do more other shows and take chances and be bold with them. And I can't wait to talk about the last few episodes with you guys. And so, if you want, I do a lot of discussion about things like this, eclectic things on Twitter. So give me a follow on at Blerd Eclectic on Twitter, or you can follow the Facebook page at What the Soul, or you can follow me on Instagram at _eclectic_blerd. I thank y'all again for coming and spending a little time with me to talk about WandaVision. Until next time, I'm out.